Hey, what's going on, fam? So this is another video just quickly discussing what I'm going to name the video, which is something along the lines of single mothers, gender bias, and non-constructive discourse. So the reason why I want to talk about this is because I had an interesting exchange with one of my subscribers, or now I'm pretty sure a former subscriber, where we had a dispute and what ended up being a non-constructive conversation based on gender biased assumptions. Now, let me explain something to y'all, fam. Uh, I haven't always been the way I am now, or the way I'm about to describe to you as far as gender issues. At one point, especially before I was conscious and understood white supremacy, I used to buy into the gender bias things. Um, I will admit, several years ago, I used to be a Tommy Sotomayor listener, especially when I could relate to some of his vitriol against black women because I had vitriol towards black women based on my personal experiences of being hurt by black women. So I understand why some people gravitate towards these gender warring, gender biased type of people or type of thoughts, whether they're a woman or a man. It's usually because you've been hurt and you feel justified in your beliefs about men or women. However, just because you feel justified doesn't mean that you are. So, as I've learned, and as other people have learned, and some people still need to learn, once you first of all start to understand white supremacy better, that's number one. But then number two, also as you just mature as a normal human, once you mature and you understand white supremacy, there should be no excuse for you to continue these gender biased, gender warring things. It's counterproductive to fighting white supremacy. Black men and black women, whether you're gay or straight, black men and black women need each other to defeat white supremacy. Neither of us are going to topple white supremacy. Yes, both of us have done things or have failed to do things that have perpetuated and continued white supremacy. There are many of us that are men and women who are still doing things that continue to perpetuate white supremacy. Many men and women are still tools of white supremacy. So all of that's understood. However, the blame game, the toxic blanket attacks on either gender, it's counterproductive and it's off code. And therefore, I don't participate in it, nor do I tolerate it. Yes, I've admitted that I used to participate in it, but guess what? If old me in a time machine was brought to my channel today and old me was talking some bullshit about black women, I would block me. So this is not about whether or not I used to do it or whatever. It's just the fact that people need to grow and learn. And if they have not grown and learned, they are not ready to be in certain places. So if you're not someone who has grown or learned, you should not be on this channel. Just like the old me would not have been ready to be on my channel. And like I said, if there was somehow a time machine that brought the old me to my new channel, I would probably end up having to block me if I was on my own channel talking BS about black women. But the same thing goes for black women. I don't tolerate it either way. I don't play the gender biased, gender war games. There's not going to be no Cynthia G's on my channel. So if you want to come here as a black woman and shit on black men, you're not going to be here long. And same thing for brothers. You're not going to get a pass. You want to come here, you want to shit on single mothers, you want to make blanket attacks on black women. It's fine to critique for both sides. It's fine to say something about black men or a certain type of black man. Same thing for brothers. It's fine to say something about a certain type of black woman that's a specific traitor to black society, like a Shea Butter MBW or something like that. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. But what you're not gonna do is show this open bias, and nor are you gonna expect me to show this open bias or try to hold me to a standard of an open bias. So I'm saying that to say, I'm about to read a conversation that I had with a sister who was a subscriber. Like I said, probably a former subscriber right now. You see her comment up on the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the whole exchange without interrupting it. That way she can have her opportunity to be fairly heard, or both sides can be fairly heard without bias. But after I read both sides without bias, I'm going to then obviously say my side of things. I can't speak for her. If she wants to speak up for herself, she can either make her own YouTube video or she can show up and comment here, or say something wherever. But I'm going to say my side because it's not just about my dispute with this sister. It's also a warning to other subscribers about this gender war stuff. If you bring this gender war stuff to my channel, this is why I warned even people who were positive and supportive in my other constructive discourse videos. It doesn't matter how positive or supportive you've been in the past or how on code you've been in the past. Once you start to go left, I will treat you accordingly. You're not going to get a pass based on your past. Again, you're not going to get a pass based on your past. You have to consistently remain constructive in order to remain welcome on my channel. You can't just be constructive in the past and then stop being constructive. I don't do that. That's why I have a problem with Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell. At one point, they appeared to be on code. Now they're off code. So now I'm treating them accordingly. And for ironically, this sister would agree because she's been mostly agreeing with the things I've been saying about Yvette and Tone. But she showed one of the main problems I had with Yvette and Tone. She showed the exact same behavior. And I'll explain it once I start to explain after I read the exchange. So let's go ahead and start it. Again, this is a sister named Jedi I Am. And she says, has anybody ever stopped to wonder why there are single mothers? Just take a wild guess. And I respond, there's more than one reason, sister. Are you saying it's always the woman's fault? Seriously, look, I don't co-sign blaming men every time either. As I said in the video, I don't mind people criticizing single mothers. I've said a thing or two about them. I just don't see the point in doing it repeatedly like Jason does, and I'm referring to Jason Black because she's commenting on my discussing how non-constructive and reckless discourse leaves opening for confusion. That's the video she's commenting on. So Jason was referred to in that video. But I said, I don't see the point in doing it repeatedly like Jason does. Even though you may not see it, many women see that as misogynistic, and frankly, I can see why. Then she says, what? I'm confused as to why you took my comment as a shot at single mothers. Tell me, why would you think I'd do that? I said, I don't know. That's why I asked. Seriously? Maybe I misunderstood your comment, but at first it seemed like you were asking the question, and this is me talking. So she says, why would you think I'd do that? She says, tell me, why would you think I'd do that? She says she's confused, and why would I think she would do that? I said, I don't know. That's why I asked. Seriously? Maybe I misunderstood your comment, but at first it seemed like you were asking the question as if you were saying single mothers are the reason they are single. And she says, Morpheus Unplugged, there's no maybe to it. You did. And she capitalized. And I want to emphasize that she capitalized that. I'm going to emphasize every time she capitalized a word and every time I capitalize a word for a reason. And I'll explain it at the end. But she says, there's no maybe to it. You did, in capital letters, misunderstand my comment, LOL. But I still can't see how you would. FYI, single mothers exist because she's left to raise the children alone. You have a happy new year, sir. And then I say to her, you didn't say that the first time. You asked a question which left things vague. How am I supposed to know what you meant without you saying it? The question you asked has a million answers depending on who you ask and how their situation went down. There's no blanket answer to the question you asked. Maybe consider being clearer, and I'll put that in all caps, and then this is me reading what I typed. I said, since we are using all caps, this is what I typed. Since we are using all, maybe consider being clearer in all caps. Since we are using all caps next time, you have a good new year as well. Then she says, Morpheus Unplugged, that's funny considering I asked others the same question and got a different response than yours with more tact and respect, I might add. It's not rocket science, sir. Single moms are single because the father has left. Simple. You know, this entire exchange could have ended a lot better had you just ate your food and admitted that you made a mistake. We all make mistakes and misjudge. It ain't that serious. I was ready to laugh this shit off until you went left on me. SMH, everybody's not here to argue with you. Some of us are actually here for a healthy dialogue and info. But this is where I make my exit. Good luck to you. And then this is when I said to her, this is delusional talk. How was I disrespectful? The most disrespectful thing I said to you was, the most disrespectful thing I did was say seriously, and then you, and I capitalized that, you started talking all aggressive and using caps first, and I capitalized the word first. Then I said, now you want to play victim. It's tactless to ask questions based on how I interpreted a vague, and I capitalized that, question. Don't worry, I'll probably use this convo as an example of why I warn even people who are supportive to always remain constructive in order to be welcome here. Good day. So now let's talk about one thing real quick. As you can see, this sister was operating off the assumption that all single mothers are single simply because the man got up and left. And this is why I spent time and just talked about the gender bias assumptions that are not welcome on my channel. I don't think like that. First of all, yes, sometimes a single mother is single because the father left. Other times, a single mother is single because she kicked the father out. Other times, a single mother is single because of our mass incarceration system that we're always talking about within the system of white supremacy, especially the system of white supremacy in America. So maybe he went to jail for a variety of reasons: child support, a couple of parking tickets, whatever. Maybe he made some mistakes and sold drugs in the past, and whatever. He could be in jail. Like I said, the mother could have kicked him out. She could have ended the relationship. Maybe he found out she was cheating. Maybe she's just a toxic manipulator. Yes, maybe he just left. Maybe he was toxic and that's why she kicked him out. Maybe he was a broke, leeching bum, so she kicked him out. There are so many reasons why relationships end. So I don't think like that just because a mother's single, that means that the man left. Obviously, with the way this sister talks, that's probably what happened to her, but that's not what happens to everybody. So as a matter of fact, let's go back and reread the conversation, but this time I'm going to break it down. So the first thing she says is, has anybody ever stopped to wonder why they are single mothers? So according to her, there's an obvious answer, and that's why she said single mothers are single because the father left. But there's not an obvious answer to me because I don't think with gender bias that a single mother is always single because the man got up and left. Just because that probably happened to you, Sister Jetta, doesn't mean that happened with every single mother. Just because that happened to you and the other women that you run with, because y'all probably choose the same type of dude that is the type of dude that gets up and leaves after he busts you down, that doesn't mean that every man does that or that every situation happened that way. That's number one. So that's why I said to her, there's more than one reason, sister. And that's the way I took the question. When you ask a multiple choice question and you say wild guess, even if you didn't mean it to be a multiple choice question, because of the fact that it is a multiple choice question that you asked, it left me to take, guess what, exactly what you asked for, sister, a wild guess. So for you to get upset that I took a wild guess when that's what you asked for, especially with a multiple choice question that has multiple choice answers, and I don't care what you say, the reality is there are multiple answers and there are multiple reasons why a mother ends up single. Maybe the man got killed. There's so many reasons why a woman can end up single or as a single mother. So I don't care what kind of delusional reality you live in. Reality is your question was a multiple choice answer. So that's why I answered the way I did, because I picked the wrong answer. And that's the reason why I said maybe, because it's not that I was trying to avoid accountability like she tried to treat me. I said maybe because I was leaving room for the fact that you asked a vague question. So that's maybe why I misunderstood, or if I did understand, because I'm still not sure what you meant at the time I said this, because I said maybe I misunderstood, because I want you guys to notice something. Her first comment was, has anybody ever stopped to wonder why there are single mothers? Take a wild guess. Her second comment was, what? I'm confused as to why you took my comment as a shot at single mothers. Tell me, why would you think I'd do that? So her first two comments, she still didn't say what she meant. It wasn't until the third comment when she says, there's no maybe to it, you did misunderstand my comment, but I still can't see how you would. And then she says, for your information, single mothers exist because she's left to raise the children alone. So it took until her third answer for her to actually say what she meant by that question. This is one of the same people who has been agreeing with me calling out a vet for not saying what she meant at first with the down ballot strategy. Yet and still, this same person who was agreeing with me for calling out a vet now did the same thing that a vet did. Not say what you meant at first and then get mad at me for not understanding the confusion that you caused. And again, ask me and somebody, please, you can go review the exchange yourself. Tell me where and I have screenshots just in case she edits or deletes something. Tell me where I was rude to the sister. The worst thing I did was when I capitalized the word clearer after she tried to G check me. And she admitted she tried to G check me because that's why I emphasized the word when she capitalized the word did. Yes, she tried to laugh it off with the word LOL, but you don't get to G check me and then try to make it soft or make it okay because you put the word LOL behind it. No, sister, you tried to G check me. That's why at the end, your last comment was, you should have just ate your food. That was you trying to pin me down, sister, and trying to hold me accountable for the confusion that you caused. That's why you capitalized the word did when I said I may be misunderstood, and then you came back and capitalized the word you did understand, like you're trying to come at me all aggressive with all this masculine energy. Sister, I don't do that. I believe in gender equality. So if you come at me like a man, I'm gonna come back at you like a man. But I still didn't disrespect you. I didn't call you out your name. I didn't call you hoe, stupid. I didn't even make any insinuations about your intelligence. And by insinuation, obviously, I didn't say anything like, oh, well, you don't have the intelligence or you struggle to understand. I didn't say anything along those lines. I simply said to you, sister, the worst thing I said to you the first thing I said was seriously because I wasn't sure. So I said seriously. That's why I asked it with a question mark behind it. That's number one. And then the second worst thing I said to you was you should consider being clearer. And I capitalized it, but that was after you capitalized trying to pin me down and G-check me. And you admitted that you were trying to G-check me by coming back later and saying, oh, you should have just ate your food. AKA, you should have accepted my G-check. And no, I'm not going to accept your G-check, sister. I'm not going to accept it. I'm a grown man. And let me explain something to y'all. Just because I emphasize constructive discourse doesn't mean I can't get non-constructive. The reason why I emphasize constructive discourse is because I want to stay constructive. But if you want to get disrespectful, if you want to talk street, I can do that. If you want to talk reckless, if you want to talk crazy out the side of your mouth, I can talk crazy too. But I prefer not to do that because it's a waste of time. So I'm saying all that to say, fam. And again, you can go read the exchange yourself, guys. I have screenshots in case anything's altered. So let me know if anything doesn't line up with what I'll say, and I'll provide you with screenshots of the conversation. But let me say this, fam. Again, this sister has been a supporter, but she obviously went non-constructive because she operated off an assumption that I should understand that all single mothers are single because the father left. That's why she kept asking me, why would I think she'd do that? And that's another thing. Sister, I don't know you. I'm not your husband. I'm not your brother. I'm not your sister. I don't know you like that to know. Yes, maybe you can expect your husband, if you have one, or your brother or your sister or whoever, you can expect them to know what you would and wouldn't say. But you can't expect that of me. Even when you talked about other people, even if you weren't talking about people who know you any better than I know you, they may think like you. So they may have the same thought process and assume that single mothers are single because the father left. But I don't have that process. So bringing up to me about what other people said or what other people understood, that don't have nothing to do with me, especially if those people know you in your personal life because they know you better than I do. I don't know you based off YouTube comments. You would be upset if I started talking about your personal life, your kids, your husband, your spouse. The first thing you would say is, I don't know you like that. So don't try to expect me to know you like that now when you want me to assume some gender BS with you. I'm not going to know you like that, sister. And I don't want to know you like that, especially now that I see how you behave. Also, too, I want you guys to notice how she kept asking me. That's why I said it took her until her third comment to actually say what she meant. This sister asked me twice, why would you think I'd do that? Like I know you like that, sister. I ain't married to you. I don't know you like that. I only know you based off a few YouTube comments, but that ain't enough to know you. I don't know the name of none of your children. I don't know your real name. I don't even know if your real name is Jetta. You don't know my real name. So how are you asking me why would I think you would do that? Like, I know you like that, sister. All I know is that you're on the FBA side of things. So when you ask that question, because people on the FBA side of things listen to people like Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, and Professor Truth, who do criticize single mothers, and I've never heard Yvette Carnell or Antonio Moore criticize single mothers. When you ask that question, I assumed your automatic answer was single mothers are single because it's their fault, because you're on the FBA side of things. But if I was wrong, all you had to say was, no, brother, that's not what I meant. Here's what I meant. And I would have left it alone. I would say, oh, okay, my bad. Well, I thought you meant this because of this. And then it would have been the end of the conversation. But no, you had to question me as to why I would think you would do that, with still not telling me what the hell you meant. And then you tried to G-check me by capitalizing the word did. And for those of you who don't know, when you capitalize a word that only emphasizes one or two things, either you're angry or you do it for one or two things. You either do it for emphasis or you do it for aggression. When you capitalize that word, especially when you're not capitalizing the whole paragraph, when you use normal grammar and normal uppercase and lowercase with every other word, but then you capitalize one word, that is either showing emphasis or aggression. I know because I do it all the time, especially with people who are trolling on my channel or are trying to get me to repeat stuff I already said. So I know what it means because I do it all the time. And no, it's not necessarily a bad thing to do it all the time. But when you do it, know what context you're using it in. And don't blame others when you use it in that context and then you get mad when they're not going for it. Because I'm not going for the G checking, sister. I don't know how you talk to men in your life, but you're not going to talk to me that way. And anyway, fam, this was just an example of non-constructive discourse and gender bias that's not tolerated on my channel. Now, I haven't blocked this sister. She's welcome to come back if she's going to come correct. She probably won't. She probably doesn't want to. And if she's not going to come back, frankly, and she's not going to change, I don't want her back on my channel. I only want her back if she's going to change and come correct. But if she's not, she's probably gone because somebody has unsubscribed from my channel. It's probably her, and she needs to stay gone. And that goes for the rest of my followers. If you think like this, you need to get off my channel now because I don't do the gender bias stuff. I don't do it towards men, and I don't do it towards women. But anyway, fam, that's another video. Just a quick angry rant. Obviously, I'm irritated because I'm tired of this, and I'm a little hurt and disappointed because I don't like losing subscribers, especially people who have been positive and supportive in the past. But as I said, once you go off the rails, I will treat you accordingly. So anyway, fam, that's another video. Like, share, subscribe, and peace.